How to organize your life. I want you to think in three stages. How do we organize our life? It sounds so big when I say that this way, but it's how to organize any area of your life is really what I'm wanting to show you. So there are three stages. And if we skip any of these stages, we tend to lose all of our motivation. We tend to burn out. And then we create evidence in our brain that we're just not good at this. And I am not going to say anything new today, as in anything that you can't find in a book somewhere. For example, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Wonderful book. James Clear also runs a weekly newsletter. Wonderful, wonderful newsletter in case you're interested. But where do we start? Where do I start? Where do I dive in when it feels like there are multiple areas that I can improve? I am going to give you a few suggestions. I'm going to explain to you the framework of really how we're organizing any part of our life so that you can just kind of see the big picture. And then I'm going to give you some suggestions of where to start. So here's the problem. A problem in one area of our life creates pressure or problems in multiple areas of our life. So here's an example, a disorganized house. If you have a disorganized house, then there's a chance that you're going to lose some paperwork. If you lose some paperwork, then there's a chance that you're going to be late paying your bills. If you're late paying your bills, then you're going to have poor financial health potentially, like a low FICO score. Then you can't buy a better house. So now you're all crowded in a house, everybody's unhappy, and the kids are fighting, the spouse is fighting. Now we have poor relationships on top of that. It just compounds. It feels like it just kind of gets worse and worse and worse. And we want to go the other direction in our life, obviously. We want it to get better and better and better. So let's just make it better and better and better. So, how do we unwind this? Well, when it's really bad, we tend to get super impatient and we want results and we want results immediately and we want it now, which is great if there is a magic pill solution to your problem. Um, but magic pill solutions are few and far between. Every once in a while, there is one. Like sometimes it's literally just a matter of hiring some help. And sometimes it's just not that simple. So let's assume that there's just not a simple answer to your problem. And let's go with, okay, so it's up to me and I don't feel good about this. I don't feel like I'm great in this area. So here's the mistake that we make. We've got all these multiple areas. We don't know where to start. Or, so we try to do a little bit in all the areas. Don't do that. Really, really, really. Do yourself a favor and try not to try to hold yourself back from improving on multiple areas of your life. When we do that, it's like we're taking all of our energy and all of our excitement and we're spreading it across 4 or 5 areas. And then we just tend to not see as fast of improvement. And then we kind of get impatient and we kind of get bored or we're making it too hard on ourselves. And so we just, it's another path to burnout, spreading yourself too thin. Okay. We don't want to start in multiple areas. Here's mistake number 2. We start big. We start really, really big. I'm going to dive all in. I am going to organize my entire house this weekend. First of all, let's go to the Container Store and let's buy all the things so we have them on hand. And then you go to the Container Store and you get lost and you burn up all your energy there. And then you come back home and you've spent a whole bunch of money and nothing has actually gotten better. Okay. It doesn't matter. Like if I were even helping somebody declutter or organize their home in a weekend, I would still follow these 3 steps because these 3 steps done in this order are sustainable. Now, you can do them a little bit faster or you can do it a little bit slower. The speed of this is up to you. But I want you to think of these 3 steps, these 3 stages as 3 stages. Okay. So we want to avoid starting in multiple areas, and we want to avoid going hard and burning out. So, starting big, losing our mojo, giving up, and then creating more evidence in our brain that we're just not good at this. No, we're just not good at this because we haven't done this way before. Just like little kids. Have you ever seen a 1-year-old? They're terrible at walking. Terrible, terrible. I don't know why we let them walk. They just keep on falling down. But it's because we know they're going to get better with practice. We've got to remember this. We've got to remember that this is the natural process. This is the way it was designed to be. So, this is why I'm not telling you anything new, but I'm hoping that I'm simplifying it. Okay. So, stage number 1, dream big. Stage number 2, start small. Stage number 3, improve daily. Let's break these down. Dream big. Why is that even important? Because we always, when we're going into these goals and things like that, we have a tendency to look at the way other people are doing things. How is, I'm going to use this example over and over again. How is Martha Stewart organizing her home? How is Marie Kondo organizing her home? How are the adorable ladies on the home edit, I forgot their names, organizing their home? They have different lives than we do. How is my sister organizing her home? Again, different lives, different situations, different purposes. So, dream big. I want you to make this personal. One time I was invited over by a relative. They were getting ready to move. They wanted to move into their dream home. The problem was their dream home was big on land and small on space in the house. So they were literally moving from a house where they already felt cramped, and they were giving up a few hundred more square feet into a very small home, actually, for the size of their family. But the land was so important to them. The dream was so important to them. So I said, yeah, I can help. Let me, come over. And so this is the exact first step that I asked her. What is your dream? Because it's our dream that gives us the motivation to continue. It's the dream. The brighter the dream, the more excited we are about the dream, the more we have the motivation to continue. So her motivation was, obviously to live well with all of her kids, all the family in this smaller home. And it was okay that the home was smaller because they were wanting to spend more time outdoors anyway. And so we just talked about that. And as we talked about that, we also said, what are the hobbies that you're going to take with you? What are the hobbies that you're not? How do you see yourself spending your time? How do you see yourself not spending your time? Like, what's going to be different about there than here? This is important because our dreams inform our decisions. Our dreams inform our decisions. So the more clear that we got about her dream, the more easily we can make decisions after the dream. Now, if I had just gone over there and dived in, I would have assumed, well, she wants to keep as many toys as I would keep for my kids. And she wants to keep as many clothes as I would keep for my kids. And she wants to keep as many dishes in her kitchen as I would keep for my, we're working with assumptions. Let's not work with assumptions. Let's get clear on the dream big, so that the decisions will be easier. And then stage 2, start small. We had a goal to declutter her entire house in, I think, 3 days or less. I'm trying to remember. But guess what I did not do? We did not start in every single room. We started one area, one category in one area. So we started in the kitchen. Okay. And then we started with one category in the kitchen. Let's start with pots and pans. And then we made our decisions there. So we dreamed big, but we started small, one section at a time. Let's not make a bigger mess as we're going. But maybe you're not talking about decluttering the home. Maybe you're talking about something else, learning a new hobby, going after a goal. So here's something that you may not know about me. I taught myself to play the piano. I had a few lessons when I was 5, just taught me home keys. I'm not even sure if that's the term that they use. That might be a typing term. But, so I learned where middle C was. In fact, I literally remember it. So 5-year-old thinking, which one? I mean, they told me how to identify middle C, but which one is middle? Is this one up here? Is it this one down here? Where is it? And they said, I think my teacher said it's the one that's usually under the name of the piano. And it's like, okay, thank you very much. Okay. So I got a few lessons. And the next year, I don't know if there was just not a piano teacher available, not enough time, not enough money, maybe all the things. But I had piano books. And so I just kept on turning the page on the piano book, reading the lesson, and doing more. And then I turn the page, I read the lesson, and I do more. I had a big dream to play the piano. I started small, one page at a time, one new song at a time, I remember learning new keys, like going further up and further down at the same time. I literally did this for, let's see, how long? 8 or 10 years, and taught myself to play the piano. Not because I play by ear either. I have no ear. I'm so jealous because actually some of my family can play instruments by ear. My grandpa had that skill, and several of my siblings and cousins had that. And I'm just like so jealous. But dream big, start small, improve daily. Every day on the piano, I got a little bit better. When I was decluttering my own home, I dreamed big. I imagined, what if I had a home that didn't take all of my time? What if I had time for other things that I really want to do? And it still felt calm, and it still felt cozy, and it still felt good for the kids. So it's not like I'm not doing work. It's like we're all being lightened in this, load of taking care of the house. How streamlined can we make it while still enjoying our home and enjoying having extra time to live life? So I dreamed big. Is it possible to create a home that takes care of itself? But I started small. I started with drinking glasses. That's where I started. But I improved daily. I started with the glasses, and then I moved on to dishes. And then I moved on to baking supplies. Then I moved on to pantry. Then I moved on to the living spaces and, looking through our books and our movies and our games. And I just improved daily. Now, this works because your dream informs your decisions. So every time that I was working on starting small and improving daily, I was remembering my dream. But again, if you don't know what the dream is, then you're going to be kind of bouncing all over the place. All right. But I did not title this episode How to Organize Your Home. I titled this The Organized Life. So when there is a client that's coming to me and they're like, there are multiple areas that we need to work on, we go through these 3 stages: dream big, start small, improve daily. And one of the, if you look at your life in multiple areas, I'm going to tell you where the start small is. And I think it might surprise you. So, you might have finances need to improve. You might have, I need a new career. It's a complete mess. You might have, my home is disorganized. My relationship with my kids is not what I want it to be. The relationship with my spouse is not what I want it to be. Where do you start? Well, there's two options, and I've done both ways. And I'm going to tell you both ways, and then you can decide which way you want. The first one is to evaluate all five or six of those areas and say, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would I give this area right now? 10 being it's wonderful. I love it. Wouldn't change a thing. One being everything needs to change. It is not what I want it to be. Okay. And then you can rate each of those. And then you can just start with the area that rated the lowest. Okay. That's what I do when I'm helping my clients when we're looking at more general help all the way over their life. But that might be overwhelming. That really, really might be overwhelming if you're trying to do it on your own. So if you're trying to do it on your own, I'm going to tell you where I started. Okay. I started with the home. Now, the home might seem overwhelming, but it's a lot simpler than cleaning up some of the other areas, like financially. It's like, what do I have to learn financially? Where should I start? Do I need investments? Do I need a budget? What am I doing here? Do I sign up for this 401k thing at work? What's going on? It feels like you need advice there. Um, I would start with a home because it's such a great place to practice this dream big, start small, improve daily. If you learn this framework, you can take it to a lot of areas. And because you can see quick and easy wins in the home. And also because never underestimate how much the state of your home is impacting the other areas of your life. Or at least that was the experience for me. So when my kids were young, I'm ashamed to say, not ashamed really, I've made my peace with it. But the reality is that when my kids were young and the house was a mess, I the state of the house stressed me out. And when I was stressed, I snapped at my kids. I got frustrated with them. I was less patient with them. And I tried really, really hard to stop being frustrated with them, but I never got to the root of my frustration, which was that I was expecting myself to keep up with way too many things. And just, it was this perfectionism and this procrastination all going together. So, but when I started with my home, I started small, and I said, what if it could be easier? That was the big dream. The big dream, my huge dream was what if it could just be easier? What if it kind of if I didn't have all the stuff, I would have to take care of all the stuff. What it could be. What if it could be 50% better? And I got rid of 50% of my stuff. Not overnight, but starting with the dream and then, or dreaming big, then starting small, as in going into the kitchen and doing one category at a time. It gave me tiny little wins that motivated me to keep on going. And then I just improved daily. And now I still improve daily, and I'm almost not even conscious of it. Like every once in a while, I'm like, oh, look, this would be better here than here. Or, oh, look, this would be a better brand to buy than this. Um, or, oh, it might be better if I, started my routines this way instead of this way. Tiny little improvements. Or, oh, I've just got so much time to read and enjoy and live life because I am so blessed to have learned this and practiced it until it became a habit. And that's what that improved daily piece is. We are taking tiny, small, manageable pieces and we're making habits of them. And when it becomes habit, it literally feels effortless. There are some days when I have something on my mind and I have gone through all my morning routines, and all of a sudden I am dressed, my bed is made. I mean, dressed head to toe with makeup. My bed is made, a load of laundry is started, the dishwasher is emptied, my house is ready to go. I mean, for the day, it looks wonderful, if even if company dropped in. And I'm like, ah, I wasn't even paying attention because I've been practicing habits for so long that it's pretty mindless now. In fact, that's why sometimes it's hard for me to come back to these episodes like, okay, let me remember back in the day when I was really thinking about this. So, dream big, start small, improve daily. This is what you can tell your kids. Your kid's getting ready to start a sport, or maybe he's picking up an instrument. It's like, dream big and start small, have patience, and improve daily. This is one of the ways that we can help our kids by pointing out their improvements when they're really little, because they just might not see it. This is one of the ways that we can help ourselves by pointing out the improvements, because our brains do not want to let us see the improvements. This is how we stay motivated, by actually noticing the gains that we're making. Ooh, speaking of which, there was a great book by Benjamin Hardy, and I think he co-authored it off of a concept by Dan Sullivan. And it's called, or maybe it's Dan Kennedy. I get the Dans in my life mixed up. Anyway, look Benjamin Hardy up. It's called The Gap in the Gain. Great, great book to read if you're interested in what is the psychological difference in our life when we look at the gap versus we look at the gain. This improve daily piece, you want to do just a smidgen better than yourself, not a smidgen better than somebody else, a smidgen better than yourself the day before, and also appreciate that you did it. So I could have, the very first day that I decided to get my home in working order, instead of chaos, I could have gone down and said, the glasses are not enough. I'll never get done. And then I would have given up. Or I could have said, this has got to stop now. And I could have pulled everything out. And truth be told, I had done that actually more than once. So I know the pain and the frustration of pulling out more than you can manage and then burning out halfway in the middle of it, and then just shoving it back and feeling exhausted and also like you did nothing. It's kind of how I feel on the tech side of my business once in a while. It's like, oh, I dabbled in 17 areas and didn't get one single one finished. You guys, this framework works for all the areas. I could have done that and it wouldn't have been effective. It wasn't effective before, but dreamed big, start small, improve daily. I kept the belief that this was possible because I could see that it was working, because I got the glasses done. Then I got the dishes. Then I got the bakeware. Then I said, moved on to the pantry, moved on to the junk drawer. Oh, that reminds me. So I was going to tell you where to start. So I think you should start at your home. That's how I started. I started in my home, and then I started in the kitchen specifically because I felt like there's less emotional choices in the kitchen. I didn't want to start with sentimental items. Didn't really want to start with my clothes because I wasn't sure what I wanted to keep, what I want to get out of. But the kitchen felt very, very simple. I could break it down to smaller categories. And so that's if you're doing, and once I did my home, I realized this is so much better. And also, I'm still a little bit unhappy. And what was that about? And that's when I learned about emotional maturity and life coaching and managing my mind. And that took this where I decluttered my whole home and I started learning how to declutter my mind of, ridiculous expectations and perfectionist ideas, and to just listen to how much clutter was up there and to be way, way more intentional. Dream big, start small, improve daily. And I'm still in that process. And it's an amazing, amazing process. Um, like my big dream was to be at peace no matter what the circumstance. And I started small. I picked one area and I looked at my thoughts there. And then I decluttered the thoughts that didn't serve me and I came up with new thoughts. Sometimes I borrowed them from somebody else, and sometimes I came up with them my own. And where I felt a little bit more peaceful, a little bit more peaceful, gained a little bit more ground, and I improved daily. I looked at my thoughts every single day, often, and just got better and better and better at it, to the point that it was like, oh, I want to become a life coach. And so then I started studying that. And I'm telling you guys, there is an amazing snowball effect no matter where you start. So, how to organize your life. So, when I started organizing my life, it started in my home. Then it went to actually my career and finances. And then it went to my mindset. And then it went to changing my career, becoming a business owner and entrepreneur. And and along the way, it also improved my relationships. So it's so fun that it just doesn't matter where you start. You start gaining some ground in one area, it's going to give you space to breathe in other areas. It's going to benefit. So just like a problem in one area causes stress and problems in all the other areas, so does improvement. Don't forget that. All right. So, how to organize your life in the 3 stages: dream big, start small, improve daily. Stop looking for all the tips and all the hacks and ask yourself, what is it I want? What's the dream? And by the way, the dream doesn't, when I say dream big, it's got to be big enough to make a difference in your life, but it doesn't have to be the end all final. It doesn't have to be the biggest dream in the world. It's just big to you, as in it's important. Dream important. Dream personally. Dream of something that would make a difference, that would matter to you. Your dream, not somebody else's dream. Your dream. All right. I hope this has helped. I want to let you go and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.